Hello, everybody.
Hi, this is Myochi.
And this is Renee, and we welcome you to the 40 spot where we discuss the highs and lows and everything in between of being 40. And we would like you to, if you're new, thank you for coming. If you're not new, we just welcome everybody back. Um, and if for all our followers, like, subscribe. If you follow us on YouTube, please hit that notification bell so when you know that when we're going live. Also, share, subscribe, tell a friend, family members, co-workers, everybody that you know. And if you're listening on the replay, we definitely will appreciate the support. Also, you can find us everywhere you can get your podcast at the 40 spot.
Yes, yes, yes. And on today's episode, we're going to take it back to the beginning. Where are we in our goals? We are doing a mid-year check-in, y'all. And just to see where we are and hopefully give some motivation to move forward, to keep going, or to pick up some things that we dropped along the way. But first, we're going to get into our We Were Out segment. This is where we discuss news, entertainment, and personal experiences that have occurred since our last show.
Yes. And we
Go
was,
ahead.
huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. And we know that last week we missed last week. Um, just it always something with me. So this time I had my two wisdom teeth taken out at the top, and I thought I was gonna be able to do it, but I was high as in a cooler brown. So when we was doing it, she was like, mm-mm. And like I have like absolutely no recollection of the conversation or nothing like that. So I don't understand how people they be on these drugs, girl. Because I'm like, I lost time out of my life. I can't remember. My mama told me, she said, I just ain't the same about you. She said, you cried for 30 minutes. I said, what I was crying about? She said, I don't know. She said, but you was crying. She said, you weren't boo-hooing. She said, well, it just kept coming, kept coming. She
A
said,
very therapeutic cry. You don't even something you just been holding in. You let it out
I
with
wish I had
under
like
the table.
recollection so you know whatever is in your head and it's just like I'm crying about it could just
Mhm.
now I feel better and whatever my mouth feels different without the teeth in them and stuff. I should have had it done 20 years ago, literally 20 years ago. But that's part of things that I wanted to do this year as we get into like our topic, things that we need to get done or we should have been done did and trying to make this year a better year than the previous before.
Well, I'm happy that you are doing well. I'm happy that we are back.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know I try to schedule these things with hope. Now I don't have any more wisdom teeth, so I ain't planning on having no more teeth pulled.
Yeah.
But definitely try to plan stuff in between time.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, things happen, and we are a community. We're trying to build a community, and it's about life in our 40s. And this is something that happens. Things you didn't take care of in your 20s and 30s, they sneak up on you. We'll
Yes.
talk about that more. But the first topic that we wanted to kind of discuss are the mass shootings that occurred in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas. This is not something that we are wanting to unpack on our platform, but we did want to acknowledge its occurrence and the lives that were taken and the families that have been forever affected by these tragedies. One thing that we do definitely agree on as a platform, as individuals, that it's time for more than uh, moments of silence and prayers and thoughts. So, but that's where we'll leave it for now. But we definitely wanted to acknowledge that because that is something that a major event that happened while we're out, and we are tired of having these discussions. So we are not going to have further discussion. But again, we wanted to acknowledge what did happen here in the USA most recently.
Yeah. um and it's kind of moving things on along. Another big thing that's in the news, every news outlet is Roe versus Wade. And for people who is not familiar with Roe versus Wade, it was a court case that went to the Supreme Court and it was decided. I think it was in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s, where women could have elective safe termination of pregnancies, also those termination of pregnancies where they may realize like the fetus is not going to be viable, or even in cases where people have multiple like twins or triplets, and sometimes one of the child will demise. So medication, that includes medication, treatment, the whole gamut. So it's not just an elective abortion, because in medical terminology, a miscarriage is termed as an abortion. So they want to repeal all of it, everything about it. And I think as of right now, it came out that it was a memo from one of the justices of the Supreme Court that it was going to be back on the docket to try to repeal it. And so now we're in this storm, and the only place really is safe is California, because they wrote that into their state's constitution, about that it's safe, um, and that women can have abortions, um, be it elective or medically necessary, or in cases of incest and rape, and different things of that nature. So they encompass all of that. Whereas a lot of other states, it's not in their state's constitution. So it's just kind of, it's a free for all. And as of right now, Texas has, their Supreme Court has said no more abortions for no reasons whatsoever. Medical, rape, incest does not matter. Nothing to help aid these women. So
It's completely ridiculous.
yes.
I'm just gonna say that the idea that you're controlling women's bodies, you
Mhm.
want babies to be born, but you don't want to take care of them once they're here. That is
True.
just in general. Like we
Hmm.
get into the shortage of similar.
Baby form.
But in general, you don't want to, because these are the same people who feel like you should not have assistance from the government. Well,
Hmm.
sometimes people make decisions to have abortions because they realize, you know what, I can't afford to take care of my child. And
Yeah,
the alternate is not, oh, well, give them to the state to take care of. Someone still is trying to having to take care of them. And most times they're not getting the best care that they should receive. And
exactly.
the idea of the medical piece, that is completely asinine. You know,
Hmm.
women don't always naturally miscarry or abort. Like you said, it's considered a medical abortion. So the reality is, if your body does not follow through, if your baby has passed or doesn't have a heartbeat, you can become septic and die.
And
So
septic means that because your body is taking care of that bacteria and stuff, and it's inside of your body, that can get into your bloodstream and cause a whole array of sorts of different things to happen to you. So,
exactly. So you're just basically infection throughout your body,
mhm,
throughout your body. It affects your organs. I mean, it's a rapid decline. That can happen with abscess in your mouth, like, and something so simple
mhm.
as removing the tooth can immediately correct. I mean, there's other things that have to go on, but it's just ridiculous. Yeah, and the point you made is that we only found out about this because there was a leak. They're saying, "Oh, that's not true," but obviously there was some truth to it.
Somebody wanted to definitely put it back onto the books. And regardless, I think this definitely goes beyond your political affiliation, because there, if let's say like if you're 7 months pregnant, and which happens not frequently, but it happens sometimes, the cord gets wrapped around the baby's neck, and then the baby passes away. So you can't do nothing. You got to wait for that woman's body to take care of that child. That's mind just blowing to me, where they are not even putting any type of exception. And I definitely personally, I think the same way they do, there's a separation between church and state. I think there needs to be a separation between medicine and state as
Well,
well,
here's the problem
to a
too.
certain degree.
There's no that is even that's fake. That's fake. They say separation of church and state, yet they bring
Yeah,
in church into their reasonings for things. Like so,
yeah,
even this conversation is not a separation of church and state. This is a belief that you're making very religious, um, which is church, right? The religion part of it and belief systems and God. So that's not real. There's no separation of church and state, which that's supposed to be what
yeah.
there is in this country.
Really, the main thing is that it ain't taxed. That's really pretty much a separation, because a lot of people foundational morals and ethics is based in religious affiliation. Um, but I but when you think about at the beginning of 2020 and the pandemic, and as we see even to present date, that the scope of the medicine and how infections and viruses and everything goes on, and you see where this is definitely not politicians' lane. And there's only been like one person, and it was actually a senator from Tennessee, Frist. He was an actual MD, but he came from a very political family. So, and although our first lady, she is an MD, she has still been very, very silent on the issue itself. And I would just thought I would expect more from her, because she's an MD. She has taught um, in medical school. She's practiced, medicine for years, where she understands it. So it would have been like, hey, let me get out here and try to help, to try to clear up some confusion and stuff like that, and just try to educate people at the ground level. And we definitely know that that's going to be a in 2024, and even this year, because in November there's a lot of seats in the Senate and the House of Representatives that are up for grabs, and even at the people local levels, and they're going to run on this point heavily. And a lot of people, although they're gonna say, "Oh, this is wrong," there is so many people they vote against their own personal best interest. Um, and the sad thing is, it's still going to happen, but it's going to affect minorities, the poor people, the worst, and even some people who have money. They not thinking that, guess what, you may have a situation, late term in your pregnancy, that you have some type of issue. Guess what? You can't get on no plane and fly to another state. And then guess what?
Term or early things happen early as well, and
This
because
is true.
it doesn't mean that your body necessarily follows the normal process. I do want to make a quick correction. So Jill Biden is a doctor, but she's a doctor of education. She's not a medical doctor.
Oh,
Yeah, she's not a medical.
okay.
She's an educator. So um,
But still, educate the people.
at least
Michelle Obama, she was out there. She was educating people, get up and move. You know, she
yeah, I
had,
mean, even as an educator to say, hey, guys, let's use context.
yeah.
Don't just hear one thing and then you take it and you ride with it. No, let's use context. And that is a big piece in education, because education is teaching us about communication and it's teaching us about how to string stories together as well. So she could be helping in that way. But I did just want to clarify. Um,
Okay. I apologize,
but it's crazy.
viewers and listeners.
All we got to say is get your hand off our bodies. Like, get your hand
Yeah.
off our bodies. Get your hand off
But
our bodies.
to a certain degree, not that I seen this specifically happen, but I remember when they was definitely trying to mandate everyone to take the vaccine, and I was like, this is not a good thing, because if you allow that, at what point will they stop? This is the U.S. government we're talking about, where it's like their reach is so vast, as I say, look at how they control other countries. That, guess what, you don't own that country, but it's one of those things that it snowballs. You
Well,
know,
it's interesting for people who have watched The Handmaid's Tale, and I've heard all these.
oh, that is my show, girl.
I have never watched it, and
Watch
with
it.
everything that's going on right now, I'm actually afraid to watch it because to me, those are the scary movies, right? The things that's like that can really happen. Okay, so first of all, I am afraid. Scary movies is not my thing because
It's not scary. It's just the
well, no, I know it's not scary, but what I'm saying is what makes things scary to me is the idea of, oh my God, this could happen. And like, I'm not into scary movies because in my mind, like, honey, somebody thought about it, it could happen. Like paranormal, science stuff that's more science based, I think I'm more apt to watch that. But like killing, it's like somebody thinking about this, somebody can do it. Anyway, my point is, I am now afraid to watch Handmaid's Tale even though I've heard wonderful things about it, because it's like, well, I don't need to watch something that might
I
happen.
read the book and I watched the series. Definitely like 2 seasons behind. But something happened and the birth rates across the world is going down. And then that's what's it's a few people who are able to procreate and everything. But the society in which women are reduced down and stuff, it's so many moving parts with this. Like it's a well written series, it's a well written book. But it's definitely, and I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of people post like hands like tail, in the hashtags and stuff like this.
Yes, like
And
everybody is saying, like, oh my God, it's like unfolding.
it's definitely a cautionary tale. And the thing is, like when you see this stuff happening on the show, initially you thinking like, okay, it's like, wait, way back in the day, but it's like, wait a minute, they got electricity.
And what's
Like,
crazy is he wrote this, wasn't it like 10, 15 years ago?
mm-hmm,
So
yeah,
it wasn't even that she wrote this at a time where it's like you can see things unfolding. She wrote this from a place of creativity and curiosity, right? Of
yes,
probably seeing things and saying, "Oh, these things can happen." And now the fact that this show has been created and it is so on task, that is a scary movie to me.
yes, yes. And I think certain stuff is very, very cautionary tales and stuff like that because it's one of those things where does life mimic art or does art mimic life? But
Right.
it's a very, very blurred line, and some way, something creators they seen or heard of something and then they just kind of expound on it, like what's the best or the worst, so which all different type of ways this thing could happen. And just the way that it was written, it wasn't without the piece that something happened and majority of the women cannot procreate or would get pregnant in general, like something happened, like they don't know what happened, they don't really go into that. But the way that women have been, that has been truthfully depicted throughout history,
Right.
as far as like, okay, you're this person based off of the status of your husband, you this, and child
Right.
brides, all it's a lot of real life applications through history, but it's like, okay, you don't watch out, you set the same whole thing back. And I think the worst part of that book, best and worst part, the person who set it in motion was really a woman. She pushed and pushed and pushed and
In the show.
pushed. And then when she thought she was exempt of some things,
Mm.
but yeah, but I could talk to you about that.
So
You ain't gotta
we have
watch.
somebody who just joined, Kimberly, and we were talking about Handmaid's
Right.
Tale in correspondence to like the Roe v. Wade situation that's going on right now. And Erica said, I don't know if I could really do it right now. Like she's on board with me. It's one of those things like, you know what? I have enough reality going on. I don't need to see anything extra. I'm on board with you. And there's a lot of other shows I'm gonna catch up
That's why I'm 2 seasons behind.
on. Yes.
That's why I'm 2 seasons behind with it.
And so the next topic we were going to talk about is the Virginia Tech linebacker, yeah, Colin Kim.
It see, he toot. I think that is his name. This story had national headlines back in 2021. Um, he was, well, now he's an ex Virginia Tech linebacker. At the time when it happened, he was 18 years old. He had met what he presumed to be a female on Tinder, the dating app, and went to that person's house to hook up. That was what it was for, to hook up. And in the process of that, he found out that the guy Jerry Smith, who was 40 years old actually, and this is an 18-year-old, he was posing as a female, and he felt violated. He felt threatened, and a fight ensued, and he punched the guy, he stomped him, and he succumbed to the injuries. But he was found not guilty, and he was acquitted of all charges of murder, which I think is very, very monumental for, regardless of whatever the cause is, for a black person to have killed somebody that was white and you got off. That's one part of it, because
It's
typically it's
definitely
like it don't matter that. But I just, because I always think like these type of things definitely can happen to my son, to my family member. It can happen to anybody that you know, but especially young people, they are very, very fearless. This can't happen to me. Um and he can try to reclaim his life back and move forward, and that's not a life thrown away at the judicial system
right.
because of of such a thing. His intent was not to kill him.
I'll be honest, to hear that, because I saw, where he was acquitted of all charges. It's not a story that I followed, but now I feel like I wish I had, just because I'm interested in why and how did they come to that piece, because that tells me, first of all, he had a great lawyer, and secondly, that means that exactly what he said happened, because it's really hard to tell a story when you're the only other person who can tell the story. And what the
Yes, and you're black because they
exactly
already in
the
the.
optics, this black man killed a white trans woman, essentially. So that's the headline, and all the rest of the details, uh, no one else is there to fill him in, but he was. So uh, he, number one, had to have a great lawyer. Number two, what he said had to line up, because, like you said about they found a knife under the bed, because what he said was that, once he realized that, this person was not who he thought it was, he saw them go to under their bed. And so, to be honest, I can see that being a question of fearing for my life. Like, oh, did you trick me to rob me? Especially because he did go to Virginia Tech, a linebacker. People, are you setting them up? Are you trying to beat him? Are you trying to rape him? Are you trying to do whatever? Like, was it a setup? And it's interesting to me. It's very interesting um, that it played out in that way.
Yes. So um and I hope that he's able to, maybe not there at Virginia Tech, but definitely somewhere else, to be able to finish his college education so that he can just move forward with his life to be productive. Um and also, is the besides the fact that someone lost their life, because regardless, someone losing their life, that is tragic in itself, and it's not just that's still with somebody's son. But in still with that, for the strides that the LGBTQI community makes, these stories that take this headline, set them back. And this is why some people like, because see, y'all always trying to trick people and stuff,
Right.
because those are the
That
stories
narrative.
that gets those headlines. And it's bad, because us being, you and I, double minority females and black, there's a lot of stuff that comes with both of them, and then the combination of it
Right.
together. So, and if it's things that you fight for, and then it's just like, why did you do this? Like, was you not thinking of everything else? And it's really one of those things where everybody know what it was, John Casey, where obviously he was homosexual, but everybody who he slept with, he killed him and he buried him in the house and stuff, and he killed they probably hundreds of people. It's just the people that they found in that he had built in his house and stuff, which
Right.
was probably like 60 some odd people. And they still, as recent as last year, I think, due to DNA testing, that they was able to find out some people that he killed, and it was from back in the 70s. And those families haven't had those closure, because it's like, okay, granted that was a different time. He couldn't live in his truth, but he wanted to make sure, like, yeah, I did this, but ain't nobody gonna know because you dead. And it's probably still people who do those type of things now, and those are the spokespeople, for
Unfortunately,
that. I'm
because it's not the truth. It's not the truth of because this topic is more on the line of trans people and how they're depicted in media, and especially when it comes to news. And it doesn't um it's not okay to kill someone or to want to fight someone because of um their sexuality, their identity. And unfortunately, this person, who knows what was going through this person's mind, but it's unfortunate because some people will use this case to say, "Hey, see, that's why," and that.
Mhm.
It's not. It's more than unfortunate. It's sad because no, this is an individual case, and it's just it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. But with the person that got off, we are, um, you know, happy that he was able to, and that hopefully the truth did come out about
Mhm.
everything that happened that night. Excuse me, that everything that happened that night, and it's just unfortunate that he lost so much, and that also a life was lost, another life was lost in the process. So the
Yes,
other thing we
and
want to talk about, kind of move on to a topic that happened, okay, actually a couple of weeks, but because we've been out, we haven't been able to talk about it. But we definitely wanted to touch on it. Um, Mr. Kevin Samuels passing away. Again, we're still talking about a lot of death. I'm just thinking about it, like it's a lot of conversation about death.
but I promise you, we got some good stuff. We go in and out while we
Yes,
out on a high note. I promise you.
exactly. But I mean, but the thing is, people die, and that's unfortunately
Yes, and he
uh,
was the he was claimed from a lot of his followers as the Godfather, and I'm still wondering, what was you Godfather of? Because I know James Brown was the Godfather of soul, Aretha Franklin was the Queen of soul, Michael Jackson, he was the king of pop. Like they always say, like the king, queen of what? Like he was the godfather of what? But he was an image consultant, and
yeah.
that's what he did professionally. And he was a podcaster, and he had been doing what he was doing for quite some time. And um, he started getting people start posting, clips of things on social media, and World Star, and his brand and his some of his vitriol. It took off. I didn't disagree with everything he said, but sometimes the message, but it worked for some people. For other people, it did not. Um, I definitely, my heart goes out to his children. He had two daughters and his mother, because she her son passed away just a couple of days before Mother's Day, and that's I can't imagine. Um, and also, they said that was due to a heart attack. So, as we know, heart disease is the number one killer amongst men and women in this nation. So, you can't always look at a person and say what their health status is. And, you at any age, you should stay on top of your health. Um, but he also has said when he was in his early 20s that he battled with cancer.
Mm.
He had, I forget, some type of leukemia, if I'm not mistaken. So we know that sometimes just that whole process of chemotherapy, and if he had taken radiation, and considering his age, chemotherapy radiation was rough back in the 80s, really, really rough. So we don't know how those things affected his heart and other organs and stuff in his body. Um, but yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. It's interesting because I will say I was not a fan of King Samuels at all. I didn't really listen to a lot of things. His outtakes was enough for me. I have heard, things, the positive things he said, or the things that did make sense. I mean, he did say some stuff that makes sense, so I won't negate that. But, if I don't fundamentally, agree with you, I don't kind of lend my ear to what you're saying. So,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan. But I will say, when I saw that he passed away, I really was shocked. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of, and I actually said, I'm like, dang, that's sad. And mainly because, first of all, he's a person. And
Yeah.
secondly, he's at the height of his career. I felt like, I'm not saying he
Mm-hmm.
just got big, but I mean, I'm more than sure there was further things that he was doing, and exploits that he was trying to reach. And unfortunately, he's not able to do that. So I know that was just, and surprisingly for me, that is how I felt. I didn't dislike him. I just wasn't a fan. But the craziest thing for me is how people responded to his death. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked, and maybe I shouldn't be shocked that someone can hate someone so much, that someone you don't even know. Like, good Lord, what did this man do to you? Did he come turn your lights off? Like, what did he do to you that you are ding dong, the witch is dead type thing? It's like,
Yeah.
that's a bit much. That's a bit much. So
I definitely don't think that as Black people as a whole, we should not celebrate the death of someone of his caliber, because, as I say, he was a man's man. As I say, like he definitely, suit tie, button up, articulate, educated, where we need to see more people like that positive, imagery of, Black males, where you don't see a whole lot of that. Like, we're in an age where tomfoolery and just pure ignorance get the biggest check and the most gratification, where it's like, still, for the people who supported him and liked him, a lot of people's lives was changed. And obviously he had a platform for it because he had been doing it for a while. So he had his A1 day ones, and his platform was growing, and regardless of whatever he said, it's just like on the talk show. They didn't force nobody to call in. They didn't force nobody to go on to the
that's,
show.
and
People
you
went,
show up and you watch because you want to. Like, I didn't watch him.
and I think people, women that called in, they wasn't calling in to be bashed. They called in for sometimes that very, very blunt straightforwardness, where it's like, look, no, this is what you need to do, this is where you at. And I know different strokes for different folks, and that's why teas and coffees come in very, very wide array of flavors, because it's not a one size fit all. Like
Exactly.
I tell everybody, I ain't everybody a cup of tea. Because some people like coffee. So guess what? I feel like I'm a tea, a chai tea. you
Yeah,
know
I
what I'm
just I
saying?
thought that was very strange to celebrate, this man's death. I also think it was interesting the last thing he said before he died. I also think I don't know all the details around his death, but some of the stories coming out about the person that he was with that night, um, sounds like, it wasn't the type of person that he spoke about on his platform. Um, so that's interesting, to say the least. Uh, and even if it was, I know that's one thing he said, that, if you are overweight and a single mother, blah, 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 men will date you, but they won't be serious with you.
And if you over 35, you leftovers. Well, guess what, Mr. Kevin Samuels, and for everybody else out there, guess what? Some people love leftovers.
Yes, some
Guess what? The best Thanksgiving plates is the day after
exactly. It has made
Thanksgiving.
me, and my favorite word is congealed. it's like perfect. It's like lasagna. Lasagna to me, it is always better the next
Oh,
day.
that is so true. Very true.
Always better.
Very true.
Um,
Shirley said yes.
exactly.
Yes.
And
So
what's funny is like
I
even
just ain't never had no problem. I may not be married at this point, but I ain't never had no problem. So
child, there's a lot
I
of people
still got
that
calls and I got people want to take
not
my
happy.
head off.
There's a lot of people that's married and they're not happy to be married. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother thing. Running trying to get married, that is not always the goal, or it's not always the prize. Some people win that prize and they be like, oh my God, it's not gold, it's coal. Um
Do you remember this guy when we was in med school and he was married? And I forget you had asked him a question like, "Is you happily married?" And I remember him saying, he said, "You know how like sometimes we take the test and you get the test back and you realize you really want the wrong answer, but it was supposed to be something else, and then you would die laughing." I'm just saying, sometimes you need to be a little bit more seasoned to be able to get to know, like, guess what? That ain't the right answer.
I will say this. I still desire to be married. It's not something that I want to rush and get into. So I say, oh, I'm married. Yay, I got a man and I'm married. But I do
Mm-hmm.
desire to get married. I do believe that marriage is the ultimate commitment. And I would love
Yes.
to get to a place that is something that I want with someone. Um, but at the same time, I feel like how I feel and believe at 41 is very different of how I believed at 21. So
Amen.
that idea of, if you are past this age and haven't been married, it's kind of like, and this is not true for all women or men past a certain time. Some people are
True.
50 child and their mind is still in their 20s. So I'm not gonna say that who everybody, who are older has this mindset. But the reality is, I think as you get older, you do learn yourself more. You learn what you want, what you like, what you want in a relationship, what you want, and within yourself
Mm-hmm.
individually. And I would hope that that makes for a better commitment, a better lifetime commitment in relationship.
Yeah.
But child, so Kevin Samuel did, child. So we don't have no more conversations unless we pulling up old.
Godfather of whatever they say. I'm in one of his Facebook support groups. I joined it because I was nosy.
I want to say support. What you need support for?
I was being nosy, girl. Honey, that's why one of my own blinds on my door is tore up now because been looking out, see them people outside, what they doing.
He's one of those.
So I be going on there seeing what people say or whatever like that. The conversations are always very, very interesting. With anything, I'm always in the comment section because, like, to me, that's the best commentary in the comment section. And so, but there was a lot of men that definitely felt hurt. They felt lost, and that also let you know how lost they was prior to coming across his channel or following him. That they didn't have no direction. They really was wondering, why am I not being chosen? What am I doing wrong? I want this, I want that, and it's not happening. And then if you're always looking at, Joe Smo over here, he getting the girls or whatever, or he's already married, he's already happy, whatever. And then they definitely trying to figure stuff out. And I just know a lot of them, they are not healed from, and it had nothing to do with Kevin Hart. A lot of it is probably what they experienced and what they've been through and the lack of fulfillment. And I think we just live in a world where sometimes there is a true lack of fulfillment, a lack of
Yes,
direction.
lack of purpose. And unfortunately, people think that getting in relationships will now fix that. And now
It
this
don't.
person will make me happy. No. You should be happy within yourself and you share that happiness with that person. Now, yes, being with that person, you will have happy experiences and you should not be miserable in a relationship. So all of those
Yeah.
things are true. But being in a relationship and being with someone shouldn't make you happy because
Yes.
that means your happiness is contingent on them being present in your life. And that is
Mm,
definitely not true happiness because true happiness and joy comes from within. Yes, it
very well
does
said.
definitely. It comes from within. So again, he did pass away, so condolences to his family. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that is a hard thing, no matter what others may think about the individual that passed away. So condolences to their family and condolences to the people who were followers of him and um, supporters of him. I should say followers because that sounds very cult like, but who were supporters of him? Because again, I've heard people talk about the things that he's spoken about, and I've heard since his death other clips that was like, okay, I can see that point, things like that. And so he wasn't all bad, and most people aren't all bad.
Yeah, and that's the bad thing about a soundbite. It's context because there was, if he's done a show and it's 3 hours, it's just like with us. If somebody that said Kevin Sands, oh he dead, they could spin it all different type of ways, but
Very true.
we're already been on here about 40 minutes. It's like what was happening, what was said before, what is being said after, what is the context of everything. So you know it's definitely one of those things where, and I think that's what made me go and look at one of his episodes because it's like I'm bigger than this. Like
Like,
I need to see what is people really saying about him. Like I know he ain't getting up here and he's just talking trash like this length of time. Like he ain't no comedian, just like Messi Maya. He was gonna be on your head the whole time. That was his thing. It's like it can't be like that. So it was kind of harsh to some people and stuff, and some people didn't want to accept the truth. And some of it is like it might have been true to me, but guess what? I still don't have to accept it as that's my truth. That's what you think. And
right.
as I say, that's part of being 40. Don't give a fuck. That's why you want them young chicks. Because guess what? Oh my God, I really need to change this because nobody's going to want me, whatever, like that. And, you know, when you get to 40, it's just like, baby, this is what it is. This is giving what it's go give. You want this gift? Do you want it? Do you
Available.
not want it? And I guarantee you, I have had more takers than
I will
none.
I will say this. So, moving on
Yeah.
to another relationship expert, Devon Franklin. This recently came up. Uh, Pastor Devon Franklin
Mm-hmm.
going to be one of the experts on the panel for Married at First Sight. And
Yes.
initially, when I saw that, I was like, "Wait." But as I thought about it more, it was just kind of like, you know what, not knowing him as I don't I can't say that, but not knowing some of the details of his relationship or the fact that they were very public, he and Megan were very public in their relationship. Um, he's probably going to be a great expert because maybe nobody could really tell you about the things not to do than someone who has failed. I mean, and
Yes.
across the board. It's within
Mm-hmm.
marriage, it's in school. Like there's things that I definitely did wrong when I was in school that I can tell people, listen, when you get
Don't
there,
do that.
don't do this, do this, do this, do this, because I've already experienced it. And I can't go back and fix it, but what I can do is help you. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, thinking about that, it's like, you know what, he probably is a good fit. Because there are probably things that both he and Megan could kind of bypass because of their love and affection for each other. It's like, oh, we can work these things out. But when it came to the real, it was like, okay, this is not working. They were together a long time as well. Now I
Yeah,
will.
they was married. They was married 10 years. So obviously it was together maybe a year or so prior to getting married. Married. I know they didn't date for a very very long time. Um, but I'm still waiting for that book that tell all them together individually as to what happened. I definitely feel like they need to let people know because people really look towards them because they put the God aspect in it and biblical
They
and
wrote a whole book.
yeah, and they did many seminars. They had the Essence Festival several times. Um, and when they was going on tours and their channel their social media, it reflected that. So and I'm hoping that those type of things come out. And for people who's not really familiar with Love at First Sight, So they have contestants that are not contestants. They have people that apply to be on the show that are single. And based off of this huge questionnaire thing that they do, and this is not like click, 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 like you dedicated if you went through all of the pages to actually
Right.
do it. Like, because I had went on there because I was like, I wonder what they do. And like, it is a whole list of stuff. And then they have to do psych evaluations, all that. And it's not like people that come from rich stuff like that. They have like literally regular people with regular jobs and everything. And then they do it in the city because they're not doing stuff from, you know, multiple different cities. So like, oh, you're in Chicago, you're in New York, and then they're trying to match you. So based off of what you want, they base it off of that. So it's not necessarily it may be people in the same ethnic background or whatever. They try to they
Based
have
on your
relation
profile.
yes, so they have relationship experts,
Religion.
somebody from the religious side. They have therapists, therapists, those people, and like PhD people. So the panel of people, like they're well versed in their craft, and they try to get people together. And so the first time that they see one another is at their wedding. And they go ahead and get married. And then after 30 days, because they, of course, they follow them to see how well the relationship and all of this other different type of stuff. And then they have the relationship experts and, the clergy and everybody check in together and separately with the person, because one person goes to live with the other person. Um,
That's changed over the course because there are times where they went to different houses, that one person, and they've also had it where they all kind of lived in this whole high rise situation.
oh, okay. All right. And
I think
after
it's
30 days, or maybe it's 90 days or something like
more
that.
than 30, but I know they do check-ins.
Yeah.
Because the good thing about their profile is not as simple as I like this, I want this. So they're doing personality. Like that's why like when they're talking about the test, it's a personality test. So not only are you gonna say what you want, it's like, okay, you're gonna do this personality test. And they're matching people based on personality. Sometimes they may not give you exactly what you want based on the fact that they like, oh, you know what? This is where you may be strong when this person is weak in this, and vice versa. You will do well together as a unit because of this. And basically it's an arranged marriage. And
Mm-hmm.
the concept, because there are many cultures that have done it for years, that it has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's worked only because people are just used to staying together, but sometimes it's worked where they were arranged. However, they actually fell in love and had a wonderful life together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I watched it for a while, then I kind of fell off, but
Me too.
I think it's a great concept. I loved it, because you're putting all that emotion stuff out the
Mm-hmm.
door when the decision is made to be pet, to be
Do they stay married or do they
right.
not?
I mean,
Um,
the hope is that the like and the love is developed, but it's also not first, because the reality is, one of my favorite words, baby, love don't pay the bills. It doesn't. Love does not pay the bills. Love does not keep you happy. Love does not keep you on the same page. There's so much more that goes into relationships than I just love you so
oh,
much.
this person needs to
Give
look
me
good and
butterflies.
whatever. They don't base people out for they look goods. Because I remember like one of the first seasons, one of the girls that was on there, she actually was like a contestant on The Bachelor. So his family was kind of questionable, but she came from like a sketchy background past, but she wanted someone who was very, very family oriented so that she can experience that family. And they waited, and they're still married. They've had 2 kids and stuff. And she was like, she know, because Doug was not like, oh, he cute.
I
But
remember
as the season went on, like he just his personality, like he really was like into it, and he was just patient with her and everything. So I like their story.
Yeah,
And
I remember that story because she was very, like, it wasn't like, I don't think he's a good person, but it was more like, um, I'm not attracted to my husband. And he's not like, I didn't see him like, oh my God, thank you, experts. But, I think, like you said, it's a great opportunity to go beyond it, because looks won't pay the bills. Looks don't make you happy. Honey, you gotta find
this
the
is
thing
true.
Smoking.
But she was a nurse, and I forget, like, he did construction or something. Like, they had a little family business, so they was all right. And it was cool. Erica said I would be open to an arranged marriage at this point because clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Girl.
Period.
Maybe that's the whole point. And I think I like the show because it's not all of these young people like 20, 21, 22. I
Yeah,
think they are more seasoned adults where it's like, I really do know what I want because you done been through some relationships. You kind of know what's out there and what's not out there.
I will say this though, there was a couple couples where you saw that they got exactly what they wanted, and they thought, and it was hot and heavy going in, boom, because it was all about, oh, she want her to be submissive, and she believed in that construct for the family, so that was perfect for them. They were both very attractive, they were sexually attracted to each other, and it was like hot and heavy. And then when it got into the nitty gritty of
Mm.
life, it was,
Ooh, life.
and it goes to prove the point in this instance, because they went in knowing that I may not stay married, you were able to see, dang, I got exactly what I wanted. And obviously, it's not what I wanted. This is not what I thought I wanted. It at least wasn't what I needed. And I need more than, because those things are not although that may be important, but it's not the bigger picture. And when you're talking about long-term relationships and connection, it just takes more than that. You know, girl, let's sign up.
I know. Um, I was when I was like, I wonder what they do. Okay, it's like, oh, what about if you got adult children? You know, bigger kids. Like, because I think that's important. That would be interesting to see if they have people that already have children
Yeah,
and stuff. Because a lot of times you have these blended families or
yeah,
people they've been married before and then they're getting married again and they already have children. And a lot of times that happens more often than not. That a lot of people they go in, even if they're young, they going in with children.
yeah. I want to kind of bring it back to Dewan Franklin, because there's a
Oh, I'm sorry,
part. No,
girl.
no, you're fine. No, because it was just something I wanted to say about something he posted. Because it's kind of interesting, right? So, like, I'm on the side of, I think it's a good idea for him to be an expert, but then I'm on
Mm-hmm.
the side of, like, interesting, because he says in his post, I guess, because he's talking about, you know, basically married at first. I came to him prior to the divorce announcement, and
Mm-hmm.
initially he was like, "Well, I failed, so I shouldn't do it." Blah 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 blah. That was in his mind, so he was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." And then he just felt like God told him, like, "No, who else is the perfect person to help people in the struggles and the challenges of marriage is someone who's faced it." And I can absolutely agree with that. But he
Mm.
also says this, and guess what? When I went to do the show, something powerful happened. Everything I've been through, I was able to draw upon to help a couple successfully sort through their issues. And then in parentheses, it says, "You'll have to watch to find out which couple." So I might be reaching, so I'll accept that. But at the same time, I kind of feel like that was kind of like, I'm going to talk more about what happened with us, because we never found out what happened with him and Megan Good. And although I do believe in privacy, I also believe that when you put certain things out there, that's like somebody walking around being pregnant and they posting all this stuff, and then when you had your baby, you didn't post it. Like, where's our baby? Like,
Exactly. I need to see
yeah,
our baby. We
exactly.
we didn't see from no belly to big belly. We even seen when you're in the hospital looking crazy and stuff, and then now you want to show a
Now you
foot.
want to hide the baby. Like, don't be hiding our baby from us.
We knew this baby
So
had feet.
when everything happened with them, granted, maybe they just weren't ready to talk about it. It was just kind of like, so what happened? Because
Mm.
a big piece of his ministry was about relationships. And you guys
Yes.
went on tours, you had books. So when it doesn't work out, there's that piece that I don't think it's fair for you to be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to talk about it, but we've been talking about it. So let's continue to talk about it. Tell us what happened. So I thought that piece what he put out was kind of interesting, because it's like nobody's talked about it. People are going to watch because they're going to want to find out, not about the couple. They don't care about the couple. Okay, if I watch, I don't care about the couple. I'm going to be watching, so I can hear that 5 minute snippet when you say, you know what,
When I was
I was
married.
married. That's what I'm gonna be watching for. So I just thought that
Yes.
was interesting that he said that, because, like, dude, come on, you ain't just say you have to watch to find out what couple. No, you should just say you have to watch to find out what I said. Come on,
And
I
Miss Megan,
know. I want.
we don't want your story 7 years after that happened. We have moved on and we don't care no more.
So I'm gonna need both of them to come out with a book. Hopefully, she got her people working on it. She have her book. He have his book.
A
Great.
movie, whatever.
So, thank you, because inquiring minds want to know, and if I'm nosy for that, I don't care. It was my baby.
It's okay to be nosy. Look, I joined Kevin Samuel support group to be nosy, see what they talk about over in there.
and,
They let me come in.
and speaking of, where's our baby, Rihanna? Where's our baby?
Girl,
You didn't show us
we've been
our baby
seeing
at
your
all.
belly since you had the belly, and then now you want to go MIA. You don't need People Magazine to do that spread to get that money. You got money. You got money. It's finna be the first of the month. You finna get all this money of people who forgot to skip this month for Savage X Fenty VIP people, and then you done got that $49.99
Where's
every month, and the people ain't even bought nothing.
where is our baby? Now, I don't even know, it's been 30 days yet. So maybe that's a bit of a rush. Like, some people be trying to wait until their baby come, they get their face and not that little alien squishy face. So
I
maybe
need
that's what she's
that.
doing. I don't know. But where's our baby? Because at this point,
We this baby gonna have a big old
our baby
forehead, so I need to see this baby.
may not, may have does ASAP Rocky have a
Girl,
baby?
let me tell you, big foreheads is a dominant trait.
Well, she had a baby. She had it in her. She had it in LA. She did go to Barbados like a month or so before she had the baby. There's also reports that she plans to raise her child in Barbados. And what I will say to that is, we also are never going to get a goddamn album. I am part of the Navy. Okay, I am part of the Navy. Period. Okay, we ain't gonna listen up, people. We're not getting the album no time soon. Okay, because
um
she does, it will definitely be because she feels like it. She has no reason to do it. If it's even a part of her contract, she can pay it out because she got the cash and the coins.
at this point, I don't even know if she's still under contract since it's been so long since
I
she had
don't
something
know.
come out.
I don't know if she's on the contract. I'm just saying, if she was on the contract,
Yeah,
she
she
probably
might not have a
would
full project, but she may post a song. If not, I would love for her and ASAP to do a collab album.
that would be amazing.
I
With
mean, oh, a
her in the
seriously official collab album, like, and it's all about, you know, love, their relationship, growing up, being parents, their child, business ventures. Like, this would be like
That'd be
the
a good
other positive, for 444, like Jay Z had, and people that got mad with Chance the Rapper, like after he got married. It's like we sick of hearing about his way. Quit, y'all not be want to hear about the thought city that's down the street. Let that man celebrate his wife, and
And
guess
there's enough
what?
of people making music that's the total opposite.
Half of these people you don't even know they in a full relation. Why they don't tell nobody or whatever like that?
She said, "Have y'all tried Savage Fenty? It looks cute, but I haven't heard many talk about it. I
I
have not.
have,
Really
I
have.
have, I got some stuff. I got stuff.
Look at that face. I got stuff. What you got? What you got to share with the people?
I got me some teddies, some panty and bra sets. Um, I got these.
I mean, you got to tell us all your business, but I'm just saying, let us know. Let the people know.
Yeah, but yes, I have. I will say this. As for me, I don't think the bra gives as much support as other bras that I've purchased from different brands and stuff like that. And maybe it's because when my chest is over 30 years old, and
That's
and
sweet. That's
and
sweet.
gravity done did some things to it. So I need all the support that I want. But like if you want something that's like really, really cute and stuff. But I will say, like, the teddy that I bought, I really didn't think, it was gonna look cute and stuff, because like, I need to lose some weight. I got a little roll here, got a crease and crevice there. But like, her stuff is made like, yeah, it's the truth. So it's definitely very inclusive and stuff. But as far as the support of the bra, this ain't no all day I'm finna go to work type of bra. At least not for me.
And maybe it was a type of bra you got, maybe the cut, or do you just feel like
Well, I ended up getting two different bras that was like from two different lines and stuff. And I just think like the way that it cuts is, I gotta have like a full cup that like try
right
to
with you?
cover up majority
Yeah,
of my breast.
that's for sexy time.
Yes,
Not for
it's
all this.
very very low cut, and it's not enough of support for me, but it fits. But the support is something different.
Do you have a subscription?
I do, and I have I put a alert on my phone for every first of the month to can because she allows you to skip a month.
Okay.
You can skip as many months as you want to, and you can still keep your VIP status. But if you don't, then they're gonna charge you. It's $49.95 a month.
And they just send you
So
something that they think you might like.
no, they just charge you, and then like you get the VIP price or the credit and stuff. So if you don't use it, it doesn't expire. I think maybe it expire after a year or something,
Okay.
but that still is a lot.
And this is why we'll never get an album, because
She
she
done found her way.
panties and perfumes and face stuff, and now she has a whole baby, which is great. So
Yes.
we're gonna get an album. Maybe we'll get a single. Because she may feel like once, you know, being a mother, she may have that creativity. Like while she's pregnant, she may have been creating because, they say that it brings out this side of you or whatever. So maybe she created some stuff. We probably won't get a single, but an album, we ain't getting it, people. Not right
But
now.
I would definitely love for them to do that collab. Like
That
that's if his contract will allow him to do that, because I know sometimes some of those contracts they be so ironclad, and I know that she was on Island Vibes
mhm.
um records and stuff. So and then up on the Jay-Z, and I know he's not a Rockefeller artist, so I don't know what his contract would allow. But guess what? If y'all just want to go live and just do something for the people, we all right.
Y'all can have a baby in the background. You can be, how the people be popping the baby up and down like on a little leg and the baby like this. We fine.
Yeah,
Hey, do something.
yeah.
Okay, I'm off that tangent. Rihanna, can we get a
But the
single?
baby will go look like both of them more than likely. And I got guarantee it's I don't know, because boys they usually take color after their mother and girls take color after their daddy. But I don't know what like her original family color. They might have a little chocolate baby, which I'm here for it.
We gonna see
Look,
one day. We ain't
I know. Look, right now they negotiating to the highest bidder for these pictures.
girl. Well, in our last topic in Black Girl Magic news,
Boom.
talking about Miss Anissa Wakefield.
Yes, 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 yes. She is actually a NASA software engineer, subject matter expert. I don't know what that is, but I know NASA. It got something to do with the
Yeah,
stars, the moon, and the universe.
the
So
Godfather,
she's
the Godmother,
yes. So
whatever.
she's very, very smart and intelligent. And that's her day job. But her night job, she's a private chef and a mentor by night. And she is actually in Huntsville, Alabama, and she is the first black woman, certified black woman in Alabama to be a vintage wine maker. So she started her Anissa Wakefield Wines LLC in 2017, and she released her first vintage wine in 2018. And then she became certified 2020, and now she is scheduled to start July 9th of this year, a wine tasting tour. So look out, she could be coming to a city near you. She also created, if you go to her page, AnissaWakefieldWines.com, she has the Black Cuvée, which will be a virtual wine club that anyone can join, and it will feature wine excursions to black owned vineyards, wineries, and um oh Lord, what is this? And wine events across the country. So this is for all of the wine ventures. And so when I was reading this article, I was like, oh my God, this is great. But she said a lot of Black people, they don't drink wines, or they have their wine that they drink, but they don't know how to pair it so they can get the best of it to just be like a true connoisseur of wine. So we are
Oh,
looking for
I'm
that.
to that. I am not a true connoisseur. I don't know what to pair it with besides my glass. Um, well, that would be nice. I would love to support her with that. But I do love wines. I love trying new wines. I can tell the difference between be dry and I mean, but that don't mean I know much. So I would love to be a part of her tasting tour and learn more things and see what I can pair with because I would also consider myself a bit of a foodie. So that just means I like food a lot. But it would be nice to actually know, besides what my taste buds are telling me, like I'm very much the if I'm eating this, I want to be able to drink this type person. But to actually know what's the actual pairing, what the under the notes that will go well with different music.
Mm.
So I'm very excited about that. Maybe we can do like a 40 spot trip. Might be
Oh
nice.
yes, because Huntsville is not far from Atlanta, where you're at, and not far from Nashville, where I'm at. So one, we know she going to Atlanta. I don't know if she coming to Nashville, but everybody who doing anything, they got to come to the A.
See Atlanta.
So so definitely I do not I'm not a consumer of wines and liquors and stuff like that, but I definitely would support. But who knows, it may be something that I actually like and it's like, okay, this is nice, or whatever like that. And I'm willing to, support and try different stuff. And I think it's great. And guess what? We have to, when she goes live and we can buy her product and stuff, we definitely have to get something to go with our 40 spot wine glasses that we had made.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that'll be good.
Look, we can take it on the tasting with us. No, we're gonna use our own glass.
Exactly. Oh, what is the 40 spot? This is where you need to be.
And we can tell them all about the 40 spot.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Before
we
we
definitely would keep you posted on that, and it's very interesting because a lot of us we do so many great things, but that is not what is highlighted in media and the good of us. And this is like you have wonder how many black vineyards are out there
right,
and other black owned wineries. She's the first in Alabama, so she's not the first of her kind. So that's even makes us like, wait a minute, let me find out. Because we do so much, and as I say, this is your own brand. Which not to knock Kate Michelle that she did a collaboration with Jack Daniels to have her own line, but you still image face for Jack Daniels. That's not your own company,
right.
but just to have your own, and we definitely we just got to support our own. Spend your dollars black.
I'm here for it. Now, I
Yeah,
did say this was the last thing, but we do have something hot off the press, y'all, that we decided to
hot,
talk
hot,
about
hot,
because
hot,
it happened. It happened while we were out, technically, because before we went live, it happened. I don't.
literally.
I'm not taking those sides right now, but I am going to. I'm not going to take a side, but I am going to say facts. So whatever side that put me on,
Facts.
that's very cool. So apparently there was a show last night. I don't even know what a polo show was. Let me look that up. But Monique is now having a falling out with Dia Hulu. It is
The
unfolding,
comedian Monique.
guys.
Let's.
I mean, it's unfolding right now on social media. That's where all the talk is. But last night there was a show, and apparently, let me see, where was this show? Dang it.
Um,
Let's look for where the show was. But anyway, let me tell y'all the story. Long story short, there was a show last night that she was on, and apparently there was some there was some confusion about the contract. Once again, right? She had issues with something that's in the contract, and I think it was a matter of who goes out first, who goes out last. And
mhm.
when she went out, she decided to discuss this. And that was a big part of her show. She just decided to discuss what was going on. She called DL Hughley a bitch ass nigga. She said a whole lot of things about him, which is interesting because I think it's fine for you to have ideas and you feel like you have your feelings, but people didn't come to the show to hear about your contract disagreement. Like, what about all the jokes you prepared? And maybe, and I'll take the side of maybe she was upset and was like, I have to talk about this because I'm not gonna be able to do my jokes without talking about it. But that's interesting. What's interesting about it is you had these issues with Lee Daniels and Oprah and Tyler Perry, and it was all about, oh, they blackballed you. But blackball, let's get back to what the blackball is. Blackball is people said don't work with Monique because she's difficult to work with. That's what's being considered blackballing. Were they telling the truth? Now, black people rallied saying, you shouldn't be stopping people's money, oh, Renee, so it was in Philly. I see you just put it in the chat. So it was a show in Philly. Um, so people did apologize. People have apologized, but they did not apologize and say that they lied on her. Not once did anyone say, I'm sorry I lied on you. They said they were sorry that they blackballed her. But they blackballed her because they said, don't work with her. She's difficult to work with. Honey, is it the truth? I don't know.
Mm.
Because you just had a show last night and that is how you chose. That was your reaction to going on before another comedian.
Mm.
She felt like she was a headliner. He did post, he recently posted the flyer that was made. So this is all about the flyer that was made where her position on the flyer, she feels like she was a headliner. It's not in the contract. It seems like this wasn't even on the contract, right? That she was headlining. It seems like this is what she thought she was a headliner because of where it is on the flyer. Now we'll say it says presents the comedy explosion starring D.L. Hughley, comma Monique. It doesn't even say and, so I don't know what that's supposed to mean in terms of flyers. D.L. Hughley says, uh, when have you ever seen the headliner at the bottom and mention last? That is true because I went to a concert yesterday and Erica Badu was at the top. Everybody else was at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, even if the idea is that my name is last on it, so that means I should have been the headliner for most events are named first because that's the eye catching thing. And I just find it interesting that, interesting is my word for the night, but I find it interesting that she showed like she was that upset but she could not get it together to do her set because her whole set was about DL Hughley.
And it's and to think that you want to talk about somebody that's in the back that's still yet to come out and that didn't come out during your set or grab the microphone or tell them cut it, cut the microphone, pull the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
It's monumental. So we're definitely it is one of those things where ain't nobody had no convention about you, babe. To be like, we after you, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. But I was looking in the comments and some of the people who went to the show was like, you a lot of people was like, you killed it, you was funny. Some people like you killed the vibe because of that, because that was not what they came out to hear about. And another thing is like, girl, if you don't get your whole life together and start reading from front to back
Your contract.
every word in the contract, because I know he ain't give you no contract before you was getting on no stage. And if so, you don't need to be doing that. Don't do
It
no
all
last minute.
have been contractual issues. Like when she did Precious, it was I didn't know that I had. For some reason, you didn't know you had to go out and promote a movie that you're in, but everybody else has to do that. But whatever, you didn't know that was in your contract. Like you have had all of these contract issues. You
You
should
ain't got
know
no
that
lawyer to handle that.
honey, like you said, from the front to the back, from the we to the signature line, you should be reading it. A lawyer should be reading it because you don't want to have any more of these issues. And
Highlight what you don't understand.
to be
But
honest, you don't think that getting out on stage and acting like that doesn't make someone actually believe that you're difficult to work with?
or that I don't want to deal with you because I don't know if everything was all good when you signed this thing, and then now it's like, no, it ain't, and then you finna get out here and bash me. Like hell no, I'm not doing that with that, and it's not just like I don't even want to take the chance
Right,
that
exactly.
it may go left like that
I don't
because
want to take
I
the chance that what everybody is saying is true.
yeah,
And honestly, that was to me, and I don't know the depths of the black belt, and I wasn't a part of it. So, but to me, when you hear about everything that happened, again, they didn't apologize for lying. And first of all, everyone didn't apologize. Oprah Winfrey did not apologize.
I
Um,
wouldn't
Todd
with all my money.
Lee James said something, and I think they were doing it in the sense of, you know, out of respect for her craft because she is a great comedian. She is a great actress. Like the things she's been very funny. Oh, Precious wasn't funny, but the things I've seen, I never even seen Precious to be honest. So anywho, but she has been very good at the roles that she's been in. She's a great comedian. So to say, you know what, this is a problem. This is the narrative. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's my sister. I want to support her. You know what? I apologize for going and telling people because, you know, I do feel like that we don't have to necessarily, if I don't like something, go to everybody and tell everybody about it. I'm just not gonna mess with you no more. I just won't shop with you no more. So was there a need for them to go around and say all these things? So they apologized for that. Something that they really didn't have to apologize because they really are apologizing for their truth. Because if your truth is she's difficult to work with, then she's difficult to work with.
And it may not have been like they went on a smear campaign. It's just that, oh
It's
my God, I worked with her. It was so hard because this happened. And then when the story get retold again and again and again and again, it has went to everybody.
I'm
So
like
then bam.
I told everybody that I was difficult to work with, but hell, everybody asked.
But these contract issues at this point, I'm gonna need you need to not wait till the last minute to read them. You need to ponder over them, pray over them, have other people to read them. You're down there in Georgia, you're near Emory School of Law. Get one of them fresh lawyers out there that'll read that stuff a little bit of nothing. That all that stuff is fresh on their head. It will be happy to work with you
And you
because
know,
you're gonna be the first client.
DL Hughley, he didn't put it on, right? So the contract issue isn't actually even with him. And I guess she maybe felt like he maybe twisted some things that, you know, it's probably that, right? He twisted some things. He got himself as a headliner, all these other things. But if your contract doesn't state that, that's something you should know. And that's something you should be talking to the people who put this show together.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it a DL Hughley thing?
And why do it have to be on stage right this minute
Right, and
live?
and again, I am the type of person that I might laugh at a few of your jokes because you venting. However, I would have definitely been that person saying, "Oh, you killed the vibe," because I did not come to hear about your drama. People have enough drama in their life; they don't want yours.
When people go to see entertainment, that is their break from their own real life. I don't care if it's a sporting event, a comedy show, a music event. They out and about. They want to have fun. This is their break. Like I just need a mental break, a physical break from my own surroundings. I want to get here and I want to laugh. And then when I leave, maybe I can find a little bit of humor into whatever I'm going through. Maybe this give me extra time to try to deal with it or whatever like that. But I got my own problems too. Like I ain't pay for that.
Like after I realize she keep going on and on, I'll be like, "Oh,
I'm at the box office. I need my money back
I
because
know
this.
exactly,
If not, I need my portion that was gonna go to her. I definitely need that back. I'll stay right out here, and when the next person come, I'm coming out.
And here I say again, she is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Is very talented. I don't understand why she's not doing things on her own. You are having all these problems with people. You
Mm-hmm.
can do things on your own. You can have like, why aren't you having shows? Why you? I mean, I'm here in Atlanta. They have Atlanta Comedy Club. They have another like several comedy places here. Why aren't you doing these things, these events that she will sell out, people will go, I will buy a ticket. I don't want to hear
Mm-hmm.
about it. You can now, like, can we, I mean, a little bit, of course we want to hear about the drama, but I want jokes, I want jokes on jokes on jokes. I don't want
Exactly.
the same thing. But I don't understand why she's not doing her own thing in the middle of rebranding, or coming back. Like, you are on all these other people's, you're doing stuff with other people.
Yeah.
Like, do you not have friends? And I'm being real, because you don't have friends in the industry that you can do something with, that you're not gonna have these problems. And if you don't, why? And maybe you should question yourself. Why
Mm-hmm.
don't you have friends in the industry that you can work with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Female, male. I mean, I'm
Well, all I know, folk ride to work in the morning. It's gonna be hilarious if they tuning in to the Healy morning show. Cause you look from the GED section, man.
and all these comedians, they do shows, they do big shows, they do small shows. So you can do shows. I really don't understand. I truly
During the
don't.
pandemic, a lot of comedians they was just going live and they was in their kitchen in sitting at the table like we doing right now, and they was just doing shows, putting their cash app up there, because some people touring is the way they have money. They don't have no nice nest egg or whatever like that to be able to to do their thing or something else to fall back on, because sometimes you're too big to go and get just a regular job because people they're gonna mob you or whatever like that. But girl.
Again, I'm not taking nobody's side, but I will say, because these are not my words, these are D.L. Hughley words, but I do agree with his words. I'm not taking sides, it's just facts. Oprah was the problem. Tyler Perry was the problem. Charlamagne was the problem. Steve Harvey was the problem. Lee Daniels was the problem. Netflix was the problem. Now it's my turn. That's the part he put in. That is not my turn, because I am not the problem. At some point, it can't be everyone else. It's you.
Mhm.
And again, you have been in the industry a very long time. Do you not have any industry friends that you could do some work with?
Or do you not know how the industry work at this point?
And the point is, if you don't, then you are the problem. If you're not reading your contract, you are the problem.
To me, if you ain't reading your contract after all this time, guess what? You deserve whatever they take in, they scamming, whatever, because you should read it. I Girl, if somebody wanna be like, oh, we y'all promote stuff, where's the contract?
You know,
I'm reading it. I am reading that contract. I don't know what that means. Guess what? Google gonna be my friend. I'm calling my sister who graduated from Emory School of Law. Where your friends at? Can you do this? She did business law. So get no, we can't do this. You got to change this. It may be 4 or 5 different revisions, and they might not be willing to do it. But like, they too educated. We can't work with them. Maybe not,
yeah. So
because you gonna have to be on the up and up.
it's it's going to play out. A lot of comedians have their own show now on the radio. So, I mean, it's going to play out for the next, at least this week. There'll be more things out there. I wonder what 50 Cent I have to say. They may work perfectly together.
He commented on her post.
And
And
said,
well, she didn't post anything about him, of whatever. And he just posted, he was like, Monique still out here killing it. But that was 8 hours ago. So that could have been, I don't know if he was there. He may have just watched her snippet that she had posted and not all of the other stuff. But don't worry, 50 will get on her head. He wastes no time.
what's interesting though, he's probably very difficult to work with, and people have said that, right? So those two people may do great wonders together, working together, because they may just bounce off each other. You know how people who have like these horrible attitudes, sometimes they don't clash. Like, they will have an argument and then they start laughing at each other, because it's like we have this bond or this understanding. So they may do great. I hope they do. I wish I know, but she is so talented, and it's just
She is. It's
she's
like, baby,
not
get
she's
out your
absolutely
way.
not holding her narrative and how it looks. The optics aren't. they're not good for her.
But a lot of people say it's her husband that get in her ear, and then that whole thing, that dynamic
Let's
plays
have
out.
my dad open up and let the words come out.
I don't know.
So
I don't know, but
yeah, well, maybe that could be her goals, her New Year's resolution, because that's what we about to get into. Honey, this
mhm.
was a long while we're out. We was out for a while. A lot of stuff happened. There was a lot of things we want to talk about. So we do appreciate y'all hanging in with us with this while we're out because it was
Thank you.
pretty long, but we wanted to talk about it. You know,
Yeah.
and today we're going to just be talking about our New Year's resolutions and hopefully, we had some people in the chat that kind of join in with us as well. To see where you are. We are at the end of May. We're going into June, honey. We're almost at the 6 month point mark of 2022. I
Ooh.
will start off by saying, I said I was going to do some stretching every morning to help some agility in my body. And obviously, I didn't do that because yesterday I went to a concert, got in the car, and I realized that I left my mask and my phone. I got out of the car and made 2 steps, and I was doubled over in pain because my back was hurting. And I was like, what? I mean, literally went from perfectly fine to, oh my God. And so my friend jumped in the car. She's like, are you okay? No, actually, I'm not. You're gonna have to drive because first of all, I was still gonna make it. Okay, because I was gonna go see Lucky Day. I was going to see Lucky Day, Miguel, Erica Badu. I saw some other Wale. Okay, there was
Oh, y'all had a nice,
it was
nice.
good, and they had some new artists on there. I am now a big fan of. I want to say her name right, Maeta, Maeta, honey. When I tell you, sis was blowing. I was like, let me go find her, honey. Find her, follow her. She has a great sound. But anyway, it was great. It was put on by R&B only. This I think
Oh, I love them.
it was at
Army
first.
on.
It was all day though. Lord have mercy, all day.
Okay.
It went from like I put it on my stories. I haven't really posted on my Instagram in a long time,
They
but I
have
put
a
it on my
song.
stories yesterday, and somebody commented like, "That was all day event." I was like, "Is it?" Because it went from day, and then all of a sudden it was dark. I was like, "Yes, it was all day." But it was wonderful. The artists were great. But here is the point. I still went, but my friend had to drive. Y'all, when I went inside to get my mask and my phone, I also had to grab some Motrin and I had to grab some Tylenol. So pouring for
Girl.
a week or so ago on the 12th, and my body's like, either you gonna do what you gonna do or you not. Either you gonna be stretching or we gonna have a problem. And I have been feeling, how sometimes you feel some tightness, like, ooh, my back felt a little tight. I need to get to the chiropractor. I need to do my stretch. I ignored that. And yesterday, literally, my feet did what they supposed to do, which was walk.
One in front of the other.
I didn't make no strange moves. I just got out there. I stepped out of the car, 1, 2, and it was like, ooh.
What happened? There was like this meme that I saw said nobody told me when you turn 40 that you can hurt your neck from turning and looking to the side. So, but that's what my neck is supposed to do. It's like I'm doing what my body's supposed to be doing. I'm not doing nothing extra, trying to, and boom.
If you wondering how I'm sitting here. I'm not in that much pain. I do feel it right now, a little pull, but that's because I had a muscle relaxer.
You
That's
good to be awake.
I took half of it because I know we had to get on live tonight, and so it was earlier in the day, like at 1 o'clock. I did half of
Okay, so
muscle
it's
relaxer.
kind of.
So those are the things that's happening now that I'm 40, and need to be following your goals. What are your goals? What were your goals? Where are we on?
Well, I'm still cussing, even though that was not the plan. I'm just in case anybody want to know. Yeah, I'm still cussing. Still cussing,
You
cussing at the job, at the house, in the car, at the store.
in
I
my
have, have I cussed anybody out? No, not full fledged cuss out, but yeah, I had to
well,
tell
I
some people.
working with you, ma'am. honey, because I know you was like, I'm going to exercise, I'm gonna get my movement in, I'm gonna be mindful of my diet, honey. I see your face. Going, I said, let me see that.
I'm trying.
Okay, okay, I see you. I don't think it's
Okay.
right that you sent it on this side. So like when you lose, you should lose, not lose and send.
Yeah. Okay. So
I just
as
want
far as with the gym, I've only been twice this year.
oh Lord. So that means diet is important for you.
I guess so. So I was not dieting. So when for the Christians that's out there, they know Lent happens 40 days before Easter Sunday. So Lent ends on Easter Sunday. So I gave up meat and I wasn't eating meat. And Easter Sunday, I don't know. I just didn't. We cooked chicken and all the other stuff. So I ate all of the sides and I ate one chicken wing, and it was just like I could feel the digestion. It was just a little bit heavier and stuff. And like 2 days after that, it was like, oh well, let me eat these chicken wings. So I had these six of them. And honey, when them wings got together and got the fluttering and stuff, it like killed me. So I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this meat thing. So I probably eat meat maybe like once every 2 weeks or whatever. Cause it's like if I want a hamburger, I'm gonna eat a hamburger. Um, I had family from home come to visit this weekend. We barbecued and everything. I ate meat yesterday. I ate meat today, but I can definitely tell I feel more heavier in my midsection. I was just like, oh Lord, please tomorrow
Mhm.
at 3 a.m. when I'm at work. I don't want because so I don't know what's gonna happen because I'm just gonna be stuck. I'm gonna be stuck in the bathroom. Like the best part is I'm at the hospital. So if it end up being worse, like somebody y'all just tell the people in the ER come up here. Cause I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it past them. But this pretty much everything I've done. Like I said, I got my wisdom teeth out. So it's certain things that I want to do health wise and other stuff that I really like been putting off. And some stuff like you just put off for like years and stuff like that. I want to go ahead and get those things taken care of and done. But um I'm probably like the first 80% of the people, 80% of the people who start a New Year's resolution by February, they've given up. I don't know if I really just started. I think my mindset, and it was just goals. It wasn't New Year's resolutions. Um, and so that was one that in 41% of Americans they make New Year's resolutions. So 80% of that 41% has fallen off
Right.
by February, and you have a whopping 9% that feel that they're successful in keeping them going into the end of the year. So I'm definitely trying to be one of those 9%.
Well, I didn't really have a lot of goals. So one of them I did say that I want to stretch more because I wanted to get more movement in, and I felt like it was part of my mantras. Like I had these mantras for the year is
Mm-hmm.
luxury, alignment, surrender, and child. What was the other one? I must not be doing it.
Luxury, I remember that was one of them. So I deserve luxury.
Oh, I guess it was just a three. Okay, good. That's why I can't remember. I'm looking at my bill. Consistency. No, see, consistency. So those
All
are
right.
my mantras for the year, and obviously have not always been consistent in that one area of stretching, but that was I felt like that fell into my thing with being in alignment because the stretch it wasn't just like um I'm doing some stretches with my back. I had some certain yoga poses that I want to do every morning to kind of center myself, and I haven't done that because I've gotten busy. But I think it's just very important to make some time to center yourself daily, and obviously it's not just for my mind, it's also for my body. So I need to do that. But one thing that I have uh, been working on consistently is surrender. It's like
Mm-hmm.
like kind of going with the flow, and I can honestly hear in my voice say, just surrender. Like the things I'm like, I don't understand why this is happening. Um, at work, personally, just things, and it's like just surrender to it. Like maybe it's not for you
Yeah.
to understand right now, and uh, and it's interesting because one of my I'm in school to get my master's in marriage and family therapy. So my supervisor actually gave me that assignment recently to go with the flow. I'm definitely
Mm.
so it really kind of centered me back um into that goal of being consistent. And like I'm big on planning. It's very important to me. It does give me a sense of security, but sometimes over planning can be a problem. And so that's her sign. Like I just want you to just go with the flow. And that's with my clients because I'm sometimes in my head like, should I be asking this question? Should I be doing this? Um, and just in life, just being able to go with the flow and surrender. I think that's just very important, and that will translate, when I'm with the clients because it will help me get out my head. So that's kind of something we're discussing. It was just interesting for me how that came full circle for that
Mm-hmm.
assignment for me to go with the flow. And so I would say I've been doing a pretty good job with it. The reality is there's no light bulb, no switch to like, oh, oh, I'm gonna do everything I said I was gonna do that I never did before. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the reality, and that's one of the reasons why we want to do a check-in with everybody who's listening. Because, like, if you have things that you started off the year doing and you kind of fell off, or you don't do it as much as you wanted to do, just remember there is no switch. Especially if it's things that you've never done before that you wanted to do before. There's a reason why you weren't doing it. So give yourself grace in the idea that, well, I'm not where I thought I would be yet, that you haven't been consistent with. You still have time. And even if it goes past into 2023, that's completely fine. Just keep going because we are all learning. It's a trial and error. Life is just trial and error. You figure it out. It's okay to make mistakes. We live in a world where it's like you shouldn't make any mistakes. So how do you learn? There's growth in mistakes. So and just knowing that you go from not doing something to doing something. Like
Mm-hmm.
how realistic is that?
Yeah, and it's very, very different because you're doing something that consists of almost all of your senses that you wasn't doing, and it is a process. Well, I'm
Exactly.
glad that she said go with the flow. And for our viewers, and correct me if I'm wrong, surrender is not always where just let whatever it is just take you over. It's just like surrender to the process or surrender to the things in the process that is just a standard
Don't
that
understand.
you can't change that, but then that's the step to get to the next step.
Exactly. And surrender, it's not just about something taking you over, but sometimes it honestly it can be about it can be about surrender to the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender to the idea that there are multiple possibilities for your
Yeah.
life. A lot of times we have an idea of what our life will look like, what we would like to do, or where we would like to go, and who we would like to be. Um, and sometimes we make that step and surrender to the idea that you made a step, and that step is actually going to it could send you on something, a journey that is completely opposite to what you thought your journey would be. Because a lot of times we can get stuck in the fact that, well, this is not what I said I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why you had to take that step so it can actually put you on a path to what you're meant to do, not
Yeah.
what you wanted to do. So surrender can be a lot of things. Surrender does not mean I would not say surrender like, oh, you see, we go with the flow and see what happened, child. I woke up this
No,
morning.
wasn't what I mean. It was
Oh,
just
I know,
like
I know,
for
I agree. It's like,
yeah.
you go to work? No, I'm not gonna, I don't feel like going to work, so therefore I'm not gonna go. It's not just like death and I'm moving side to side. It's like you're not just flowing in the wind and wherever the wind take you. No, it's just surrendering to possibilities and surrendering to um what is.
Do you think, like, from the religious standpoint, where it's really, just having faith that things is going to work itself out, and that, I'm following God's plan. It may not make no type of sense, but, eventually in time, it will, but it builds character, it builds fortitude, it builds strength. And sometimes, which I found out, certain things that I went through way back then, it was for somebody else that I met later on in life to like, oh, okay, this is a testimony. I ain't realize it until, I met this individual, and it's like, hey, I've been there, done that. These are things to let you know, like, hey, you ain't alone. Sometimes that you're not alone, but then sometimes in your circle you feel like, man, I'm all alone. Like nobody gets this. And it's certain things that I definitely went through. It is for other people to help them along their journey, where like sometimes when I had to go through certain things, it was just me,
Right.
you know.
So I so that to and I'm pausing because it's like that's a lot to unpack because I would say um I don't believe that God, in my belief, when it comes to my relationship with God, I don't believe God does things to me to teach me lessons. I don't think God does things to me for people later on. What I
Mm-hmm.
do think is that we live life and we're living the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
I do think God will use our experiences to help us along the way. Well, this happened,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll be able to use these experiences along the way. This happened, and you'll be able to minister to someone about it. Like, I don't know if I'm being clear about that line. Like, I don't feel like God does things so that you can. I think God uses things that happen
Oh
to
yeah.
others. So, in the spiritual side of it, um, that doesn't always give me solace though, because I'm still in my head trying to figure out. I still don't understand why it happened.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still want to know. And sometimes even surrendering to the idea that I may never know,
Mm-hmm.
having to be okay with that. Um, that's part of, for me, surrender as well. That, sometimes you're just not going to know.
Yeah. And you just have to sometimes just make peace with it, because I think me and you, we had a conversation about this one guy I used to um go with, dealt with him for years. He was in the military, and it was just like, I don't know why we didn't happen. Like everything checked off in both of our books. We probably would have been matched up if it was married at the first sight. And it was just like I had like the last interaction and stuff, like him and I had face to face, it was like, when did the truth go out of style? It was like the first time he had ever lied to me, and it was a huge lie. It was very, very devastating, and it was just one of those things. And I don't understand why we didn't click. Like even before all this, we supposed to have been together years before and whatever. And it was like I just got to a point where it was like it was something about him. I would never know, but it was not something that I was supposed to experience, or see that side of him, where other than that situation, and maybe like one other, like over the course of 6 years, it was nothing but good experiences, good memories. And I just had two bad ones, and it really did outweigh the good outweighed the bad, but still it was just kind of like, I don't know why we can't get it together. And I'm just, I just don't know. And all I can do is just say it was just something about with him. And sometimes it's just like it's something with that situation that you was not supposed to experience. And then that was why it was blocked. And when I was saying like certain things that I went through, I don't, it was for me, but it was just kind of like the usefulness of it, as you said, you just said it in different ways where it definitely helps somebody else along their journey, like your paths cross. Like, I could be of support, or, tell you like, hey, this ain't what you want to do, done it. But
Right.
yeah,
Erica asked a question, so and I guess it's to me. So you don't feel like God does things because we have free will, and I think I understand your question. So clarify if I don't, because I'm gonna try to answer your question. So when I say God didn't do, I'm talking about like bad things that happen in our life, because usually that's the tough question, right? We don't really question the good things in our life. We definitely have free will, and we have choices. And first part, I'll give an example, like with Renee's example. I think that's a little different, where sometimes you don't know why a relationship ends because you don't know what's going on in the background, but you know, um, God revealed things to you, your ancestor revealed things to you, and for a reason, so you can move on because you didn't know what was going on. I think that's very different. What I meant by doing things like my grandmother passed, and although that's, and I'm going to use it as a very loose example, but let's say my grandmother passed, and I felt like, well, God took this angel because I met this person 6 months later that I can now minister to. That's what I mean by, I don't think that God just does things so that, I can now be a testimony for someone else. I think he uses things that happen in our lives, but
Hmm.
I don't see him in that way. I see God as a protector. I see God as my father, and just how I would expect an earthly parent to treat me. That is my expectation in the way I experience him.
Yeah. I as I say, I believe it's the same thing, just wording different.
Yeah,
Um, but your experiences for you, because I think I heard one time that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So
right.
our human experiences, a lot of humans have those same one experiences, in our paths crossed, and is there for the support, you know those things. But I don't think, yeah, that happens specifically to me just for that other
Right.
person.
Well,
But
I wasn't saying that you said that. I just was trying to
yeah,
make that point for, our listeners, that,
yeah,
how I believe in that, and how, for me, when it came to surrendering, being okay that um things happen, and that sometimes you just have to surrender to the idea that I don't know why. Erica asked, do you feel that he disciplines us like an earthly parent would?
I think so, to a certain extent, because our disobedience, because in the Bible it said, uh uh sacrifice is, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, but I do think that sometimes what he has nothing but good for us, but I definitely feel like different things that we do, it ends up being withheld, because you're not where you need to be in the mindset, the spiritual set, to be able to receive this in all of its fullness, and to be able to know what is done, because of our disobedience or our lack of sacrifice.
Or our
um
lack of being in the right place, knowing
exactly.
you're not ready
Ex-
for this. You're asking for this, and it's going to implode on you. I think, going for your question, what is discipline? I don't think God beats us up. Like,
no, but as I say, that parent where it's like, you ain't ready for this,
right.
so guess what,
You're
you
not
you
ready.
don't get it right now. You don't, that ain't saying you ain't gonna get it, but you ain't getting it right now because you
It's
ain't
like
ready.
somebody who, a kid that is like, I
Yes.
need to have,
Guyana said
or
obedience is better than sacrifice. Girl, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is the scripture part that I was up there trying to say. Hey Rosie. Yeah, girl, we're gonna have to have Rosie come on here, our minister, to talk about these things, because you do have religion, and then you have spirituality as well. And all of
right.
those things, it
It's
can
a
just,
part of who we are. Um,
yes, and it creates an atmosphere for success, which ties back into our New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. And as I say, the obedience and the discipline of it, definitely has more successful outcomes to a certain extent. You
Absolutely.
know,
Like, because one of mine was consistency. Well, am I going to be obedient to the things that I said to myself, to the things that I said I was going to do? And when it comes, you have to be disciplined to do it. And, you know, I'm not going to be successful if I haven't done the things that's necessary. So, Eric, I hope I answered your question, especially about the discipline, because the whole discipline thing, like, I also wanted to say, it also depends on your views on discipline, and what
yes.
discipline look like to you. I don't think that God is going to rain down a whole bunch of bad things on your life either. So which people, and I say that because in discipline is like, you didn't listen, so I'm about to take your calls, I'm taking this, I'm taking all this. Honey, we are past the Old
Yes.
Testament where he killing everybody and you losing.
And the Bible says it rains on the just and the unjust. So given that, it don't matter if you do right or you do wrong. Guess what? You
We
can't
are
appreciate
human
the sunshine
right
without the rain. You can't appreciate the rain without the sunshine. And there is all, as I recall it, God is like a if and then type of God. If you do this, then this happens. And the if don't always have to be a bad thing. It's just like, guess what? If you worship and you love me, you serve me, then these things are open and given freely to you. So it's definitely, he's a jealous guy and he wants us to do things, but it's so much that he does for us without us doing anything, at all. So those are, yeah, I mean, I think that scripture where it says it rains on the just and the unjust, it always give me peace and know, like, guess what? It ain't because
how
I
much
thought
man
this, it ain't because I did this or that or the other. And I reference back to the book of Job, where it said that the devil, he was searching for somebody. It's like, try my servant Job. He was a man after God's own heart. And, you know, he took everything, but he loved him so. And it's just like, gosh, somebody. But I thank God I ain't Job, to that
I'm glad
extent.
I'm glad, thank God I'm after Jesus.
Girl, let me tell you, the Old Testament, God was not playing with people. As my pastor said, I don't know what smite down was, but all I know is 1 minute you was up and the next minute you was down. You was dead. And whatever smite is, he said, ain't no slap, ain't no punch. He ain't mush you down. Like, I don't know what it is, but God was smiting people left and right back in the day. And it's like, you didn't want to deal with God directly because just the immense power. So we definitely had to have
Question.
an intercessor.
Quick question for everyone who's in the comments. Where are you on your goals? Where are you
Your
on your
New Year's resolution. And it's okay if you fell off, you got 6 months to try to get back on and get it right.
You in good
And
company if you did.
excellent company.
Excellent.
Look, as I say, I've been trying to do something for almost 30 years and I didn't do it. And I gave up the ghost. Like, I just because it's gonna happen naturally and organically, and it's not gonna be because God
I don't think
or something happened to my voice box in my mouth and all that other kind of stuff.
I don't, and maybe I don't have that old ye of little faith. I don't think it's gonna change. You're gonna be an old lady cussing out the little kids.
I like those shirts where it say, I love God, but I cussed a little, or I love God and trap music. Like, God, He know, He He know my heart.
Right, right.
Look, He knew this, but look, trap music wasn't even there in 1979. But He was like, guess what, my child right here, she gonna love that trap music. And it's percolating music. She gonna like Meg the Stallion. She gonna like conscious rap and all of it. Like she gonna like it all. But you know, it made me fun to be around. I know little about a lot of stuff.
Erica says she ain't accomplished not one thing.
It's all right.
Well, you
It's
got a lot more time to do
got
it.
6 months. Guyana said child, and I already know this probably like child. And now
We
what you was talking
understand.
about New Year's what? Oh, this New Year's that just passed. Girl, yeah, like yes, you definitely.
Like we talked about at the beginning of the year, it's also about being realistic. So if you had a list, because not one thing sounds like there's more than one thing. You
Mm,
have enough time to pick one thing to work on, so you can be realistic. So you give yourself grace to finish. Oh,
yeah,
Erica said she started her New Year's on her birthday, so she just started. Well, child, please, you got plenty time.
look, you just 1 month
I ain't
in. You just 1 month in. So guess what? But you still have time to try to bang it out. And that's the one thing. If you have not gotten to where or midway to where you want it to be, it is okay because you still have all this other time. And it's not like, okay, December 31st at 11:59. If you hadn't did it, you're not gonna go into 2023, where some ill will or whatever like that is gonna happen, whatever. Like I plan on 2023. I'm turning up and now I'm being in church praying. One or the other. So it's like whatever got done, got done. On the 31st, I'm not doing it. More than likely. I'm just saying, like, at that point, it's like, well, I got next year. I start back over again or
Yeah.
whatever. And
But
as we said, it's it was just things to try to help change your life. But a lot of people put at the first of the year. But I like what Erica said. Is she started on her birthday, where that's the good is to say this is when my year starts again, not at January 1st on her birthday. So yeah. She's Guyana said, I have set boundaries with my friends and family without guilt, and that has felt good and an accomplishment. Well, that's good. Like, you learning what your boundaries is
yeah,
and what is too much and not. And I'm open, like that goes both ways, not just you setting boundaries for them, but you also setting boundaries for yourself with those people too,
yeah.
because I think it goes both ways. Because sometimes, like, I ain't dealing with your toxicity, but then people can be, too much for other people.
And I think it's
So,
important when you have boundaries. Boundaries are not just meant for other people. Boundaries, like you said, is for yourself. Because if you just have a general boundary, that helps you. Because that means no matter
mm-hmm,
who show up, you already have this boundary for yourself. So you don't have to figure out a new boundary for this new person.
mm-hmm.
And boundaries, honey, that's a hard one. That's a hard one for most of us. So that is a very big accomplishment.
Erica, she said, it's been stuff I've been trying to accomplish for decades too. I like this one. My wisdom teeth. 20 years.
And
Literally 20 years.
choose one thing because again, we have to set smart goals. And the smart goal, first of all, has to be things that are reasonable. So we can't say again, we don't have it's not no something you've been trying to do for decades. It ain't gonna be no light so boom, now I could do it. Yep, because I said I was gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. That's not how that's gonna work at all. So that
No.
will not work. And it definitely won't work if that's what you're telling yourself that's what it should look like. Because the moment
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look like it, it's like, oh, well, I'm done because I can't do it. So
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to choose small goals or one goal, not just a laundry list of things you want to do. Do one thing
Yeah.
and,
And I
and
think
work at that.
I think we also was saying, like, set like short term, so it's not like I'm gonna do this by the end of the year, but set your plan as to how you're gonna get there. Like, okay, what am I gonna do after 1 week or after 30 days? Where do I want to be at with it? And then go in small increments, because if you're trying to get to the top of a staircase, and no one is able to just get to the top of the staircase with one leap. They have to go through different
But
steps.
sometimes you have to do Tony to get to that top of the stair because you might be like, well, in order for me to get halfway, I'm gonna need to do 10 squats every day to strengthen
Mm-hmm.
myself. So thinking about it in those terms as well, like what can you do to make this goal attainable?
Yes. And also, I think we also talked about, do you have an accountability partner? Because sometimes having someone that you're accountable to, but not somebody that's going to pacify you, but that ain't saying that they're going to bash you over your head. But it's like, hey, have you did what you were supposed to do this week? No, why not? And like, if you mad because they said why not, or that they asked you, then that's something with you, because it's like accountability partner. They don't have to be mean or hateful, but it's like, I'm not giving you no wiggle room to get out of this. Tell me why you didn't get to this goal at
And
this
when you have
particular
that
time.
person you have to answer to, maybe I need to have that person to answer to for my stretching. Okay, okay. No, sorry, made that about me. But since I
Look,
have
it's about all of us. Like, guess what? You got to get the stretching, because
I
look,
just
you
thought
got to
about
get in and out that car just about
that.
every day. You can't be having your
I
back
just got out
broke.
of the car and I'm like, wait, hold up.
Girl, now let me see you on one of them little scoots on the
I
interstate,
don't
like
want
them
to
people.
think. I'm sorry I'm taking a side journey, but the reality is this is where stuff starts, and then you're on your in your 60s having to use one of them little scooters in Walmart.
I have seen some
It
young people with
starts young.
young people
It just
with them
happened when
things.
you got older. It happened because you haven't been doing the things that you need to do to strengthen your body and to give your body what it needs to be strong and nourished and giving yourself the movement and strength. And the older we get, the stiffer we're gonna get. And I know all
Oh,
these, but it's just the truth. So we have to be more intentional about our agility and stretching.
and the more weight that you have on it, it affects your ability to move, and not just because of the weight, but like if you're trying to bend and stretch, like guess what? This thigh, this belly, this hip,
I
all
am
of these things I got.
you to attack me, okay?
Yeah, I'm talking about me too.
Okay.
Side note, one of my classmates, he just started losing weight, whatever, looking good. So I asked another classmate, what happened? He was like, he had called me, he had told me, because he asked him like what he was doing and why he started. He said he bent over to tie
Mhm.
his shoe. And he sat back up and he was tired. He
Mm.
said from tying his shoe, he was like, he had to do something totally different.
Yeah,
Like he's
and that's real because what happens is those things happen, and then you be like, well, let me get some ice cream because I can't be sad. I may as well get some ice cream, and you just stay in that process. And then when you're in your 60s, your 50s, not just 60s, you can get 50 and 60s, and you're trying to figure out why is your body doing the things it's doing. It's because you
yeah.
never started. So just start. Um,
Or you wearing Crocs for the rest of your life, just something that's sliding and like you ain't even got no full shoe, no
all right, you just
Velcro.
got time to. You just got time all together. I just got slide.
Yeah,
Even
or
if
you
you
trying to get your
don't
kids and
stop.
so hey, come over here and tie mama shoe.
Guyana said, "Don't look for for perfection. Look at the positive of how you are moving closer, even if it's not completed. Baby steps." And then she said, "If I lie, at least that's where I'm at with my decade goals." I think that's a very good way to look at your goals.
And it's amazing that okay, I've said it's been things that I and trust me, it's other stuff than just get my teeth removed, my wisdom teeth. But like how many things that people have, it's been 10 years and it's still on a to-do list and it has not been done. So
Yeah,
that's something in itself where it's like it is certain stuff where it's not oppressing that it affects your everyday, but it's something that's always not way back in the back that you forget it, but it's still just that running theme in your head. Like, I want to get this done. I need to get this done. And a lot of times it's not like I want to go back to school to get this degree. I want to open up this business. It's like literally just some other type of stuff, that you want to do. And it's a never ending loop in your head because I got a couple of things that I have already said this year. I can't go into next year with it hanging over my head. And it's been some stuff, that I needed to have done for about 5 years, 5, 6 years, definitely. But this is my year. Like I can't, and I'm talking about it's stuff that comes up, and it's like it's subliminal. Like you hear other people different stuff, or it could be an ad, something that's related to what you want to do. It's just like, oh my goodness, the entire universe is after me. Like, girl, you got to get this thing done because it ain't gonna let you rest. It's like I can't even stop these ads from coming because it's related to that. If not, this is exactly what my brain takes me to. So, but yes, Crocs is very, very comfortable. But I don't want to always have to wear them because I'm can't bend down and I get tired or my belly in a way, and stuff like
like
that.
for real, and this hasn't happened to me. I mean, I'm not just saying it, but this hasn't happened to me. But people get to a point where they taking showers and they can't reach, and that part doesn't necessarily have anything to do necessarily about your weight. But if you're tight and you can't reach certain parts of your back because you don't have that, you're not agile enough. You don't have that movement
Mm-hmm.
and that tone to do that. Like, yeah, you just gotta
What is it?
y'all
Yes.
stretch. Anybody have a dog or been around dogs? What do they do? And the first thing they do when they wake up, stretch. Every single time they get up, it's innate in them, so this is what they do. But if you ever watch, that is what they do. They wake up and they stretch out. They put them paws back, or sometimes
Babies do that, but now I think sometimes we just have gotten so busy. Like time you jump up and you running.
it's a get up and go. Your feet hit the floor and you out. Boom. Or maybe not fast, but you doing other stuff.
If not, you sitting on the toilet and it's still not a full stretch, but you just like,
Exactly.
but
Or you sit on
whatever the
the floor
length
like
of the
this.
pee is, that's it. And you just
Yep.
you up and during the day you kind of doing one of these little numbers, but that's still real. That's you wiggling. That is not you stretching
Come on,
and
folks. We
stuff.
in our 40s. We know we have seen what has happened to other people. Let's not be statistics. I know I'm saying about the stretch, but that stretching is so serious and is so vital for your just everyday life. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Because what it is like yoga and what's the like tai chi
Mhm.
that people do, that's really a lot of stretching, but it helps centers you and clears your mind and stuff like
And
that.
it's also very good for your heart.
Yes, and I know those things, we know that they're beneficial. We
But we
know
don't have time.
because I definitely think it's been certain stuff that was like fly by night exercise stuff, diets, and then they just fall by the way. But you always see yoga, you always see Tai Chi.
Yeah.
You go to Planet Fitness, they have classes that's just for stretching and stuff like that. And if you watch a exercise video or something, everybody start out stretching, and before they get into they boop, 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 music, it's usually typical of like, okay, we're gonna bring it on up, whatever like that. It's really just trying to help clear and center your mind, because I definitely, it is a mind over matter type of thing. I think, sometimes even like when I watch my 600-pound life with Dr. Now, he had these people on there and they always have to go to therapy, because it's just like, it ain't just about that. Your mind can block your physical biological
Yeah.
processes from doing things because you ain't cleared up this. And I don't want that to be me. I
I
don't
think
want that to be
look,
me.
I want to get out the car easily, and not have to like, whew, well, my back hurt now. I don't
Right.
want to do that, or out of breath, or whatever. I want to be able to travel and do things and not be limited. My mobility to be limited, and if you think about older people as they get older, they lose elasticity and muscle tone. When they
Mm-hmm.
fall, it's like it can be very tragic for them. And
Yes.
those are things that we can start working on now. And this really became about stretching, but the reality is, guys, we really just need to stretch our minds, our bodies to really get to the next place in our goals and our life. And think differently and think out of the box and give yourself the grace to take the baby steps, to have the accountability partners, and to say, you know what, I may have not been doing good at this, but I'm going to start working on this. And I'm not, and it's okay if I don't finish my list, my laundry list of things. I'm going to start working toward this one thing. Even if I'm not actually on that, I'm conditioning myself to be able to get to this goal. And that is what we need to be doing. Renee,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
has been a great conversation.
It has. I definitely like this mid-year checking in, and I think in January you see a lot of people they do that, but it's like, what's happening? What's happening? What's
And we
happening?
need to check in because the reality is we're going to wait a whole year to be like,
Exactly. And maybe even if it's another segment in the next 3 months, we just 90 days, we need to just check in, even if it's not on like on our regular scheduled podcast, but we can just check in like, hey, how everybody's doing. So we just, it'll help keep us accountable, because I want to share some good news and be like, y'all, I'm still at the same spot. I don't want to do that. So sometimes even just that, knowing somebody gonna ask you, it's like, I gotta have a good report to give. So
exactly.
let's definitely do that. Let's have a good report. Good report. Somebody, even if it ain't number one little something that you did something. If you hadn't been to the gym and you at least went one time, guess what? That is progress. As I
No,
say, it took me this month, 5 months to go 2 times. And I
I
couldn't
swear I'm
even say, why did I stop going? Because I had stopped before the end of the year. So I
Mhm.
couldn't even say, well, it was my son and, got busy. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't go back.
So this is your check-in. This is your check-in. Say, you know what? Let me get myself together. Even though
Yes.
your face looking very model-esque.
But my belly
That's
is still roundish.
gonna require exercise and
But let
stretching.
me say,
I
it's
will
gonna
say
be out this
stretching also
summer.
helps with that. Stretching also helps with toning. So
Ooh,
killing two
I'm
birds with whole birds, but you're killing two birds with one stone.
I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. Okay, you said that you're off this week, so let's. Even if you don't go to the gym, I know you got stuff there at your house. You got a little mini gym at your house.
I'm not
That
going
we
because my back still hurt.
okay.
But I'm gonna take another muscle relaxer tonight, and I think I'll be better. And my goal is to be able to go on Tuesday. Call me, make sure I do it.
Okay, but one thing that you should do, run you some good hot bath water and soak today and tomorrow, so that can try to help loosen some things up in addition to the muscle relaxer or whatever. But try to stretch as a little bit that you can.
I
You
will.
know,
Because let me tell you, this muscle relaxer, I'm just a little side note. This muscle relaxer, I'm sitting here like, dang, I feel great. So it's doing its job.
that's why they took them off of the market. That you can't have them over the counter because
I
they
feel
were saying
wonderful.
them
Like
things.
I bent down early and I was like, that should hurt. Because earlier today that hurt really bad. So, I'm gonna do that. Well, before the
Yeah.
muscle relaxer, because I don't want to slide into the water and then having
Oh yeah.
to take a soak.
But soak before you take the muscle relaxer, so then that can just kind of help on
Yeah.
with it and just kind of relax
I thought about
everything.
soak, so I'm gonna do that. All right, y'all. Well, we just thank y'all for joining us with this conversation. Everyone's like, yes, it's a great conversation. But next, we just want to we want to say happy birthday, honey. For the May birthdays, we had a couple of our follow birthdays happen. Miss Tina, Lewis, and Cheryl Jones. So happy birthday to you.
Yes, and one of my best friends, Nikki, this her birthday month, and we like give her a shout out. Much love and respect goes to her, and to my cousin Rosalind Logan. Love her to death. She is a fellow podcaster, the Winner's Circle out of New York City, Tamika. We definitely want to say happy birthday to those people. And also, not just birthdays, we want to celebrate and congratulate all of the graduates. This is graduation season.
Yes.
Whether it be preschool, middle school, high school, undergrad, grad, medical school, law school, we just congratulate you. We want to give kudos to Pinky. She's the owner of the Slutty Vegan. She was the commencement speaker for Clark Atlanta. She gave everybody, all of the graduates, their own LLC to get them started, entrepreneurs. So that is great, 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 great. We're looking for great things to come from that graduating class, as all of them as well. And we love you and congratulate you for the 40 spot.
Yes, so we would love to celebrate everybody for their birthday. We won't say how old you are unless you want us to. But please just email us at
Mm.
40spot at gmail.com. That's the 40spot at gmail.com. And just give us your name and your birthday. You don't have to give us the date, but we just want to celebrate everyone. Just every day that we are here on this side of heaven is a celebration. And we just thank you. We want everyone to be celebrated.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, tell everyone you know. If you're following us on YouTube, hit the notification bell so that you know every time that we go live. Tell a friend, tell a coworker. If you're listening on the replay, please follow us where you get your podcast from. You can always catch us on the replay, catch up, follow us. We That's all we want to do. We just want to
Yeah.
grow our platform, grow our community, and we could be the best 40-ish people out here on the planet.
And we tape live every other Sunday. So our next taping will be June 12th. We go live, and we're actually on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube will be live. Not Instagram, that's wrong. Will be live again. That's just the 40 spot. So join us June 12th. And Renee, who will we have with us?
We will have educator BJ Williams. He's coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and he's going to give us some tips and tricks and some things that we can do to engage our kids of all different ages, to keep them learning and on top of, so that they won't slide back in their education, things that they can do for the summer, not summer programs, because at this point, if you didn't already register them, chances are they're not in. But these are things that you can do at home to try to keep your kids engaged. And his name is BJ Williams. Y'all gonna love him. He comes with great personality and young, vibrant, and he just has some keys to give to the kids so they won't drive you crazy all summer. Something to do so they can have their minds stimulated, and so they can be on task to be overly ready for the next grade.
Yeah, so please join us June 12th. We just once again say thank you for joining us. We'll see you June 12th. And always, like always, remember, if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Y'all have a
Yep.
great week.